The Antarctic, a mysterious frozen continent, is about 1.5 times the size of the United States, 99% of which is covered by ice. Antarctica is still a relatively unexplored area on our planet. There are probably plenty of discoveries in Antarctica still to be made. It was only in 1773 that an expedition led by Captain James Cook crossed the Antarctic Circle. Multiple expeditions in the 19th century managed to reach the Antarctic Peninsula, and in 1911, Roald Amundson's party were the first people to reach the South Pole. With such a young history of Antarctic exploration, it is no wonder that there are still many strange things about Antarctica that remain mysterious to this day. Some of these Antarctica scary facts have simple explanations, others not so much. There's some weird stuff in Antarctica. 1. Blood falls. This flow of red liquid in the middle of the Snow Kingdom has been confusing scientists since the beginning of the past century. In 1911, an Australian geologist first discovered the blood waterfall, and the quest to solve this riddle began. Scientists understood very quickly that the water was red due to the high iron content, but it would be years later before they could prove this theory. It turned out that there was an underground lake not far from the falls with water full of oxidized iron, which gave the water this color. Puzzle solved. 2. Sea pigs. H.P. Lovecraft would have probably loved to see this interesting creature. Called the ugliest creature beneath the waves, the scotoplanes, scientific name, are what you get when you combine the terror of Cthulhu with the plump, pink, and short-legged appearance of a piglet. They are the slugs of the sea and live among other deep-sea creatures, such as clams and coral. Their appearance is vastly different depending on which ocean you spot them in. But one thing is for certain, the sea pig is the stuff of nightmares, and definitely one of the weirdest things found in Antarctica. 3. The pyramid. Do you remember the loud news titles saying that pyramids found in the Antarctic could change the history of humanity from a couple of years ago? Well, let's take a closer look at this issue. There's really a formation in the Antarctic that looks like a pyramid, and it's even been nicknamed a pyramid. But it's only a mountain that looks like a pyramid, and it wasn't discovered by Google Maps as some articles say. It was first encountered during a 1910 to 1913 expedition in Antarctica, and it was kept secret from the average man. After 100 years, people found out about it and started to create conspiracy theories around it. 4. Dangerous bacteria. Scientists have found microbes underneath the ice of Antarctica and bacteria hiding right in the ice. Researchers aren't sure if it is a functional ecosystem or just disorganized hubs of life, but what they know is that the bacteria found in ice samples are old and date back to 420,000 years old. Scientists also aren't sure if ice acts as a preservative that makes the microbes intact until the ice melts, or if active microbial communities are living inside the ice. Another question that pops into mind is if these bacteria are dangerous. The potential of that is rather high. Maybe by not being able to deal with global warming, we're slowly opening Pandora's box. 5. Hidden city. We already know that there are hundreds of lakes hidden underneath the thick ice of Antarctica. But what if there's something more? Can you think of a city under the ice of Antarctica? There are people who suggest that the frozen continent is home to the lost city of Atlantis. If we take into consideration that a long time ago Antarctica was as warm as Los Angeles is now, and it was a very appropriate place to build a city, it would be quite logical to suggest that this area was inhabited. The society that could have existed there came to an end with the last ice age, which completely froze the continent. So it's quite possible that some kind of society lived in Antarctica before the ice age. But whether it's the lost city of Atlantis or some other civilization, we can't really tell for sure. 6. Oil. Did you know that there's oil in Antarctica? But it's too dangerous to extract it, and we'd better leave it where it is. The Madrid Protocol, signed in 1991 in the capital of Spain, regulates the environmental protection of Antarctica and bans all commercial mining until 2048. Today, there are no plans for commercial mining in Antarctica, and no known plans to reverse the collective decision for Antarctica's environmental protection. In fact, the weather, Quantity of ice and distance from industrialized areas make the extraction of oil very expensive and dangerous. So let's hope that international agreements won't be broken because of someone's greed or ignorance. 7. The oldest worm in the world. According to National Geographic, the 50-million-year-old sperm cells on the ancient worm's egg case were found in Antarctica. The egg case belongs to the class Cletolata worm, species of which are long extinct, which makes it quite an extraordinary finding. Studying this finding, the scientists were able to figure out evolutionary relationships between different worm species, and they're hoping to find more ancient specimens during the next expeditions. A world of new information about the past is waiting to be revealed by further studies of the kind conducted here, says Michael Archer, a paleontologist at the University of New South Wales in Australia. 8. Plants. It's difficult to imagine plants growing in this frosty kingdom, but scientists were able to find some. Just like everything on this continent, they're far from being ordinary. 300 species of lichens and 100 species of moss that can endure colds were found in Antarctica. Most of them exist on the western side of the continent, which is warmer, but certain species can also be found in colder regions of the continent. Tussock grass can be found on islands around the continent. The lichen grows in cracks between rocks where they can access water and green and red snow. Algae can be found on the underside of floating ice and in the snow. 9. B15. B15 is the world's largest recorded iceberg. It's 37 kilometers wide and 295 kilometers long, and its surface is larger than the territory of Jamaica Island. It was carved from the Ross Ice Shelf of Antarctica in March 2000, and it broke into smaller pieces soon after it. Scientists believe that this iceberg broke away not due to global warming, but because of the natural long-term cycle which occurs every 50–100 years. It's interesting that scientists tracked the route of B15 carefully for more than 6 years until it eventually broke into many lesser pieces. Some of them are still flowing in the waters of Earth. 10. Deep Lake. Deep Lake in East Antarctica is one of the most remarkable ecosystems on Earth. Its waters can rival the Dead Sea in terms of saltiness, and its saltiness also makes the water liquid despite freezing temperatures. It's a very dangerous environment for most of the sentient beings living there. For instance, it's dangerous for penguins to swim in this lake because the water is much colder than in the ocean. No one, except for the cold-loving microbes, can live in such a harsh environment. So viewers, these are the strange things discovered in Antarctica. If you learned anything new in this video, then give us a like, comment on which topic you want to watch the video next. Subscribe for more valuable videos. Until next time.